welcome back to my channel. I hope you're all doing really well, and welcome to our Q2 roundup of my book blanket. If you haven't seen my first video in this little series, I'll pop a little link to that down in the description below. But basically, over the course of the year, I'm making a book blanket. So with every book that I read, I am crocheting a granny square in relation to that book's front cover. So basically this is just the roundup from, I suppose, like March to June of the books that I've read. I think 5 squares here and 1 that we are going to make together in this video. So I'm going to start off by showing you the first square for the second quarter. So this is for a book called The Front Runner by Elsie Silver. So this is book 3 in her Gold Rush Ranch series. It's got a lot to say all in one. And this is kind of how it turned out. Obviously I'll pop on screen all of the book's covers so you can kind of see where I'm going with each of these little granny squares. So I really like this one. I love all of the greens and that little kind of bit of yellow in the middle. I'm always a little bit worried when a square has got to have a lot of black to it, because black is such a domineering colour, but I think this has turned out really nice. So with The Front Runner, I gave it 4 stars. It's a really good book. Like I said, it's book 3 in a series. The series follows this ranch called Gold Rush Ranch, and it's a racehorse ranch, but book 3 takes a little look at like the rival race ranch, and the main character is called the main male character is called Stefan, and he is kind of painted as the bad guy in like the first 2 books. So I was a bit like, not nervous, but like questioning, kind of like going into this read whether whether it was going to be any good. Like, I thought, well, Stefan's meant to be this horrible guy, like how's it going to pan out? But it's really good. Basically, he's a really nice guy. He just comes across as a bit of a dick, and that's how he wants to be perceived. And long and short of it all, he basically falls in love with the vet who is like the on-ranch vet at Gold Rush Ranch, and it's really sweet. He's also kind of like a caretaker to his teenage sister, who actually features like as the main character in the next book, in the next book of the series. And yeah, it's just really good, a really good read. All of Elsie's books kind of follow like the same, I suppose, pattern, so they are a little bit predictable, but that being said, they are very good. So yeah, if you haven't read any Elsie Silver books, definitely give them a go. So kind of like jumping straight into the second square to show you. So this is a book for the cover for A False Start. I don't know if you can see, but this colour here, is it this one? Has a little bit of sparkle in it, which is really sweet. So the cover for this, like the background is meant to be wildflowers. The main male character, so the MMC in A False Start, actually calls the FMC wildflower. So that's where I suppose the design of like wildflowers come from. But I really love this one. It's really subtle. I think it's just really pretty. And I think another thing to mention is that all of my squares will all have this border around the outside. So the idea is just like when they kind of set together, they will have like one colour like in common, and it'll be like easy to seam them all together and have like a cohesive like colour running throughout. And I still need to weave in all the ends. I am planning on like trying to keep my end weaving to a minimum by like weaving in the ends like as I go. I just haven't got around to doing it with this one as of yet. So the next 3 squares that I have to show you, they all look the same apart from like the one main colour. So the book series themselves, all the colours are pretty much the same apart from the main colour. and this is a dark romance series. So I first picked up book 1, which is Lights Out, in October last year. Read it, loved it. It was my first like dive into the dark romance genre. Dark romance is kind of like what it says. All the morals throughout are very, very questionable. They explore themes that are quite dark, so like stalking, kidnap, murder, that sort of thing. But I would say Lights Out, even though it is classed as a dark romance, isn't that bad. Some bits are a little bit like, oh, hello, but it's a really good book, and it's made really good by the MMC, Josh. He is just brilliant. Like, his internal monologue throughout the whole of the book is just brilliant. And this is the square that I created for that cover. So I really love the colour of this blue. It's really lovely. And I didn't want to be too heavy with the black. Like I said, black can be such a, like, so drawing to the eye. But on the whole, I'm really happy with how that one has turned out. And then, like I said, the other two are really similar. So this is the one that I did for Lights Out. Like I said, really good book. I gave it 5 stars. If you're thinking of diving into dark romance, definitely give that one a go. It's really good. So the second book in the series is called Caught Up. This one I didn't enjoy quite as much. Like, I just felt like the MMC was really, like, I don't know, he kind of had basically stalked this woman for like 10 years. They were like together very briefly when they were teenagers, and then because he is in the mafia, he couldn't, to protect her, he sort of denied ever being kind of like with her in any kind of way. She was shunned, she had to move, and then she became kind of like a sex worker. So she would film like videos for her of herself and put them online. He basically has followed her doing that for like however many years that she's been doing it. And it explores some really interesting like themes as well. But I wouldn't say it was as good as Lights Out. I gave that one like 3 stars in the end. But this is the square that I created for this book. Again, really simple. It's just that red, black and cream on the outside. And again, I need to weave in my ends for that. So a few an evening session of like end weaving, I think, is in order to get through those. And then the last book in that series, it's just a trilogy like of 3 books, at least at the moment. I don't know if the author Nafessa Allen will bring out a 4th. Who knows? There's always a possibility. But the last one is Game On. So this is the square that I did for that. It's all just green. I would have liked maybe a slightly more, like a sort of brighter green. I suppose in hindsight I do have a slightly brighter green that could have worked with this, but again, it's nice. Tonally, I think they all match quite nicely. And you can tell that they are like a little series. But yeah, Game On was a much better story. It was about a bookie and a tattoo artist. Basically, the bookie, Tyler, we're introduced to him in book 1 as Josh's like best friend and Ali's ex kind of hookup. Ali is the main character in book 1, just to kind of bring you up to that. And he, throughout this book, he is trying to get into, I suppose, high society to get back at his dad, who doesn't know he exists, basically. But it's a really interesting story. It's really good. And again, it explores lots of different themes. So again, very spicy. So yeah, if you like spicy books and you want to like a little toe dip into the world of like dark romance, definitely give like Into Darkness a go. It's dark, but it's not too dark. It's not too like graphic, not too like because I can be a little bit squeamish. Luckily there's no torch or anything like that in any of them. But so those are like all the squares that I have kind of to show you. So as you can see, I don't seem to be reading that much in like 3 months, but it is what it is. But I did finish another book, and this is the book that we are going to be crocheting the cover of for today. So this is The Wolf King. It was recommended to me by one of my friends at work, and it is a romantasy, and it was actually very good. It is about, I think I would like to say it's set in Scotland. It doesn't say it's set in Scotland, but the fact that the men wear kilts, they say lass and I, and it's just got a very Scottish vibes, which is really cool. So yeah, this is the cover. So it's got this nice like gold wolf and like all these red berries. This will be quite interesting to kind of pick out colours for. Again, very heavy with the black. So I might have to use browns really for this, because I don't have any like gold yarn. Like, who has gold yarn like knocking about? And I think yellow is just going to be completely wrong. So we'll have to go and have a look together at what I've got in my stash. But yeah, this, before I get too distracted, the book is basically about this young woman. She is betrothed to this horrible man. On the nights before her wedding, her betrothed brings in some wolves. So they're werewolves, they're men who turn into wolves, to kind of fight. And basically the young lady, her name's Aurora, she stops one of the fights because one of the lads that's in the fight is like this young 16-year-old lad who's about to get ripped to shreds by this massive like alpha werewolf. So she stops the fight, and then subsequently gets kidnapped by the alpha across the border to, I can't even remember what the land is called. It's not Highfell. Highfell's like Lowfell. I don't know. But anyway, I'll just say taken across the border into, I suppose, the wolf territory, and she just, I suppose, spends time with him. She falls in love with the alpha. There's this other guy called Blake who is seen as a really dangerous werewolf, but he's actually from the Southlands. So like, how is he a werewolf when I think all of the werewolves are from the north? Anyway, so there's a lot of intrigue throughout the book. It's really good. Not much happens in the first book, to be completely honest. She just spends a lot of time just like in this castle, and they're waiting for the Wolf King to come back from wherever he is. So the reason that Callum kidnapped the princess was so that he could kind of, I suppose, exchange her for this like moonstone that would allow the werewolves to change at any other time, other than just at a full moon. But yeah, there's a lot of intrigue, which kind of keeps you turning all the pages. There's a little bit of spice, not too much. It's not too like heavy on that, but there is a little bit. And yeah, no, it was really, really good. I am currently like over halfway through the second book, which is called The Night Prince. That's really good. So obviously that will be our first square, like on our third quarter. So what we're going to go do now is go raid my stash, find some colours that will match this, and then sit and crochet a granny square for this book. Here we go, guys. We are at my little like stash drawers. So each of my squares, they have about 7 different colours in them. Oh, sorry, this one's a little bit packed in. I'm just gonna pull that open. Okay. So let's have a look at this again. So these are all the colours that we are going to try and like replicate in this granny square. So I've got obviously this one, which is our border colour. So we've got that. We know we've got that one in here. So let's try and have a little look. See, that one might do quite nicely actually. So that's like kind of like that goldy colour. That's like a goldy bronzy, isn't it? And then I don't know if that's too dark. Might just have to be like all the browns. So I need 7 colours in total. I'm going to leave those ones there, and then we're just going to have a little look-see in this drawer here. Now, I think that red is going to be too bright. This one might be quite a nice colour for the berries. Just trying to have a little look-see. There's like little hints of green in there as well. Maybe a grey. So what have we got so far? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, let's have a little look-see through my drawer. So maybe a little bit of grey, like this bit here. Obviously I've got a black. I have got a black here. Let's use that. Right, let's get an idea. Okay, it's not too bad. And then do I want to add a green? Do we want to add any green? I suppose the only possible green may be this one, but this one. I don't know. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 7. There's 7 colours there anyway. So I think I might stick with these ones. We'll figure out what colours we're gonna put in first. I might kind of start. Ooh. Don't know. Let's figure it out. We'll go downstairs, figure it out, and then start working on it. We picked out all of our colours, and I think what I'm going to do is start off with like the darker brown and then move into these 3 colours here. So that's kind of like the idea behind like the wolf. And then I think I might do possibly a round of this, and then the grey followed by the black and then the cream. I think that will work out quite nicely, because then the reddy kind of colour will lift the back a bit. So yeah, let's crack on, shall we? completed square. I definitely feel like I probably should have added in like a little bit of green, just because like the more I look at the cover, like you can really see like there's little bits of green here, but equally I just don't have the right kind of shade of green that would have gone nicely with this. I've made my son cut like a jumper in the right colour, but it's a yarn that I don't have anymore, which is such a shame because that would have looked so good. But this is the completed square, so I can add that to my little stack for like the second quarter of the year of my book blanket. I'm hoping that maybe over the course of the next 3 months I read more books. I read one more book than I did in like quarter one, so I'm hoping maybe I can eke out an extra book, because I'm getting to a point where I'm like, oh, how big is this blanket going to be? It's probably going to be like the world's like smallest book blanket, but that's by the by. So if you have stuck with me throughout the whole of this video, thank you so much. And I just want to apologise for like my erratic brain and like I suppose descriptions of like the books that I'm reading. Like I don't write anything down, I kind of just like sit and just talk at you. I probably should kind of write some thoughts down on a piece of paper to like refer back to, particularly with this sort of thing. Like I've never been particularly good at like reviewing books. All I can say is like I really liked it and you need to read it, that sort of thing. But yeah, so if you do like romantasy, I would definitely pick up The Wolf King. I'm really enjoying the Night Prince at the moment. That's really, really good. There is a third book coming out in November, so this is like a trilogy of books. But yeah, so that will be like on my to-read list when that comes out in the autumn. But yeah, thank you again for sort of just taking time to sort of sit and craft with me. And if you did enjoy the video, give it a little thumbs up and maybe hit the subscribe button and just become part of my little crochet family. I would love to have you. And I will catch you in my next video. So take care and have a great week.